Hey there, Wammo here. I am in the Megatone amp showroom, and right behind me is a huge wall of speakers that you can check out here at the showroom to find out what kind of speakers you want to put in your cabinet. I'm going to play some harp through some different speakers that I thought sounded pretty cool here. The first one is the Jensen Jet Tornado 10. It's a neodymium speaker, and it really honks. This is I've got everything set for pretty low volume, so you can pretty much hear the tone on this laptop microphone that would break up if I cranked it up. So this is quiet, playing. Here's the Ragin Cajun. This is a really cool sounding speaker. Yeah, Ragin Cajun's cheap and it honks. It's a really good harp speaker. This is a turbo harp in A, which is basically a special 20 with a special case. Turbo harps made in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Really cool. I put them in my other videos too. They're awesome harps. And this is a JT30 painted and set up by Johnny Rooster in Pittsburgh, and it has a Shure black 1950 element in it. So that's the Ragin Cajun, and this is a Kendrick black frame. I just put this one through the paces. This is the Wammo ME18, which is modeled after the Masco ME18, which is, you know, the holy grail of harp amps. It's a 30-watt amp with a half power switch. Right now we're running it at 15. We're running the flat controls. He has a tone boost, like a fat button on his tone knob. You pull it up and you get a bigger tone, and he's got a volume boost the same way. So I'll show you those right now. And I've got all the feedback circuitry off. So there's the flat tone, and then you pull this up to fatten it up. Try to keep the volume at the same. And then here's the volume boost, and I'll probably need to engage the anti-feedback. I know my computer, it's probably distorting the mic, but it really kicks. These amps are amazing. He does all this cool custom stuff. He makes guitar amps and harp amps. They both sound really good. The funny thing is there's like an Eric Johnson custom speaker there, 12. 12s usually have more low end than the 10s, and it's so much brighter Here's the Kendrick. And here's the Tornado. And now here's the Eric Johnson 12. It's a really good sounding speaker. Super clean. Doesn't have as much punch. But it's for guitar. Guitar! I like the sound of this Jensen C8R. And I'm going to play a D Harp for a minute. Another turbo. Ooh, it's see-through. Ah. The volume boost. That is bright, but it really sounds cool. That's the Tornado, and it really kicks now. Probably need to turn the volume down. There you go. If you're ever in Greensboro, North Carolina, you should come here. You got to check out this room. It's amazing. This is Dale Lasley. He's the mastermind behind Megatone. And I wanted to ask you about the difference between setting up an amp for guitar and setting one up for harp.
Right. Well, with the harp, it tends to be a little bit shrill going through a typical guitar amp. So you're fighting with limitations in how loud you can turn it up because it's squealing because it's too bright. And usually the tone control is set to the trebles on 0.
Right.
So it's just different voicing on the tone controls. It's the gain structure. Because when you get the 12AX7s, they're fabulous for guitar and everybody wants sustain, but for harmonica it gets in the way. You need something with a lot less gain, and when you do that it darkens it up. And voicing the amp for more bass and more breakup is the other thing everybody wants.
Do you put lower wattage tubes in the preamp stage?
Lower gain. Your typical guitar amp is going to have 100 gain per side, and the tubes that we use might be more like 20 gain per side, 40 gain per side. Just depends on the circuit, but overall less gain. Less is more for harp.
To get the darker sound, what do you do?
Darker sound is just the way you voice the circuits. It's like a lump of clay that can just be tweaked.
So you're creating sound sculpture, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the capacitors? Are they radically different between the two?
No, they're just typically big values because the harmonica doesn't really put out bass frequencies, so we're generating those with harmonics. And having big, thinking of the caps as like a water pipe. You know, we want all we can get.
Do you mean water pipe this way, or water pipe like going through the water main?
I'll let you decide.
So you just want it to.
So we use typically big coupling caps because we want it to break up fast and get all the low end that we can capture.
What's your favorite speaker combo for harp?
Well,
tell them.
You have to appreciate that we have spent literally hundreds of hours doing deep R&D tone research here, and whenever new speakers come out on the market, and also checking out old vintage speakers, we've gone through and tried every combination. And to boil it all down, our favorite 1012 is made by Eminence. It's in the Patriot Redcoat series. very well made in Eminence, Kentucky, not China. And we break them in through a tenderizing process that we developed here, and it allows you to, on day one, have the sound like you've been playing it for 20 years. It takes a long time for harp players to break in their speakers because they don't have the low-end content. If you're playing guitar through it, the low E string, exercises the cone a lot, and if you were to play bass through it, you would get an even faster break-in period. But with harp, it might take you, several years before you even get the speaker close to being broken in. So we do that, and we apply that to the Eminence Governor. It's a 12, has a big, enormous ceramic magnet on the back, and we mate that to the Ragin Cajun, made by Eminence. That's also ceramic.
Which we listen to. It's a really honking loud speaker.
That's our go-to 1012 setup. And if you're into a lot less weight, we've fallen in love with the Jensen Jet series. The Tornado model 10 is fabulous. It's got tons of cut. We tenderize it also, and we offer those singles and in pairs.
How long does it take you to tenderize like a 10?
Typically most of the break-in period can be done overnight. Like the Governor, that takes almost 24 hours to complete the burn-in cycle on that. So it just depends on what the power rating of the speaker is, determines how long it takes. And
are you putting it through a variety of tones, or like single tones for long experience?
It's a combination of low frequency tones.
Wow. So you've already done all the homework for us.
Yeah, when you get our speakers and amps, they're plug and play.
So what about speakers for guitars? What are your favorites for like 212 cab?
You might find this odd, but the Governor is also our most popular guitar speaker. It's kind of like a vintage 30 Celestion, but sort of on steroids.
Is it Eminence Governor?
Yeah.
And that's
and it's British voiced, so it's got a lot of mid attitude.
Huh. It's because you never hear about British speakers for harp. It's always the vintage series, right, or the Texas series.
Right. Well, when we entered into this journey, we didn't put any limitations on which roads we would travel, and we tried everything, and there was really nothing that surpassed the Eminence Governor for 12.
Cool. I talked about the volume boost, pull knob, and the fat tone knob on your Wammo 18. Do you do that for your guitar amps as well?
The guitar amps, I have several services that I offer. One, I build Megatone custom boutique amps, and some of them are copies of my favorite classic amps, like the Marshall Silver Jubilee, Marshall JTM 45, Sovtek MiG 50H. But then I also have my own designs, which are completely out of the box. I don't waste the time to build something that's similar to what you can go down to Guitar Center and get. So I've got the BF10. It's a Class A 10-watt amp.
What does BF stand for?
You fill in the blank. It started off as one idea that's had many incarnations.
Best friend, beer freak, booty farmer.
Yeah, it works. And then I've got the two-tone. That's another low wattage amp, Class A 2-channel. There are many other one-of-a-kinds, but I love taking the old PA heads from the 40s and 50s, and the transformers are killer, and the vibe, they look amazing. Those can just be literally made into whatever you want. I can voice it for guitar, harmonica. It can be clean, dirty, both. It's a great value because you can find them cheap sometimes. Sometimes. Not on eBay, but, at garage sales.
Yeah, that's where you got to look. You're getting fewer and fewer.
So.
Right on. Well, hey, man, thanks.
It was great hanging out with you.
Yeah, thanks for the visit. It was really fun.
Thanks for coming by, and nice to meet you all.
All right. That was cool.